so much in sports that you have to, as an athlete, process so quickly. You want to hold yourself accountable and be the best player and teammate for your team. You know, football is my favorite sport, but as soon as winter rolled around, it was either basketball or hockey.
We are live here at the Athletes in Sports podcast, Joy of the Pond Mite Jamboree. We've got Vikings linebacker Blake Cashman from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Played football at the University of Minnesota. Now you're back, hometown kid, back in Minnesota. But since we're at a hockey event today, did you play hockey growing up?
Absolutely. It's like a rite of passage in Minnesota. I mean, I probably dabbled with every sport until about 5th grade, and then after that, it was just football and basketball.
So when did you know that football was like your passion? Was that right away, or did it take a little bit to uncover that?
I mean, I always loved it, but I would probably say like 8th grade is when I'm like, okay, this is my favorite sport. Because growing up, you know, it all mattered what season I was in. So, you know, football is my favorite sport, but as soon as winter rolled around, it was either basketball or hockey, and then spring would come, summer, it's like, no, baseball is my favorite sport. So, you know, once I started, you know, training harder for those specific sports and, you know, it started getting a little bit more competitive, that's when, you know, I narrowed down and, you know, football was what I was best at. It almost felt like that game was in my nature, so you know, that's the sport I really had a lot of passion for.
Do you think playing multiple sports helped you be better at football?
Definitely. You know, I think it's important for, you know, kids, athletes to experience and get involved in many different sports and activities. I think there's a lot of benefits to it. You know, simply just with your body growing in the physicality of the games, because you're learning to use your body in different ways, moving differently, because all that is, you know, training muscle memory, and I think it's really good for obviously your physical growth, but also you know, just experiencing how to learn the games and work with your teammates, because each game is so different.
Absolutely. And so obviously 8th grade football became your sport. And then what was that journey? Because obviously you played at the University of Minnesota. How did you get there? What did that experience look like?
My journey was pretty unique. You know, growing up in Eden Prairie, you know, I was fortunate to be a part of a lot of great teams, surrounded by, you know, good coaches, great athletes. But I was, you know, a kid that was, you know, overlooked. I didn't have a lot of interest from colleges. You know, I always aimed big, wanted to be in a Division I school, big program.
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting that interest, so it was very discouraging, you know, being a young kid. But I stuck with it, and, you know, one day we had a recruiting linebacker coach from the University of Minnesota, and he just happened to ask about me, what my college plans were, and he said, I can't offer you a scholarship, but I can offer you a preferred walk-on spot, because I believe and think you can be a guy that will suit up for us and, you know, play impactful football. And that's all I needed, was a chance. I needed an opportunity. I took it, was so excited about it, and, you know, I got there, made the most of the opportunities I got, and continued to find myself on the field more and more through just, you know, hard work, dedication, and patience. Mm-hmm. And ultimately that landed me in a position to get drafted to the NFL.
So did you end up getting a scholarship at the University of Minnesota later on?
Yes. So my sophomore year is when I kind of had a breakout season. You know, I was on a lot of sub packages on defense, playing really well, and I was told that spring I was going to be put on scholarship, and we had a new coach staff. PJ Fleck came in, and he did a really cool special thing for me. Did this like Easter egg hunt extravaganza. Nobody really knew what was going on, but he loved doing those.
I heard he's got some crazy
what
tricks
does that
up his
even
sleeve.
mean? Easter egg hunt?
Yeah, so you know, we had just kind of finished up spring ball, and guys are excited about that because you can kind of take some time off and get away from football a little bit, just be, a college student. And to celebrate, we did an Easter egg extravaganza, what he called it. So you had to get in teams, and your wrist and ankle were tied with a partner, and you had to race around the Gopher football facility trying to find as many Easter eggs as possible. And so,
Did you get to pick your partner? I do want to know that.
No. The coaches
right.
picked the teams. And when we got done, he had us all come into the team meeting room, and there was an egg taped to each seat in the team room. And they said they're going to count up the eggs, tally who wins. There's going to be a prize for that the winning team. And before he got into his announcement, he's like, I just want everybody to grab your egg and open it up. And so I'm like, what are we doing here? And so I opened the egg up, and there was a little piece of paper like coiled up. And as I'm unraveling it, I haven't even got to read it yet. And all my teammates are like screaming, kind of already jumping on me. And I'm like falling in my chair like this. And I get myself up and I look at the piece of paper, and it says, congratulations, you're on scholarship.
Wow.
Awesome.
So it was really exciting. Something I've been working for a long time. And then where it touched me the most in my heart was just, just the love and care I felt from my teammates and coaches.
How was it playing for Fleck? I mean, just a probably unique experience, obviously, with the Easter egg hunt, but what did he do anything else that stood out to you when you played for him?
Well, right away, he came in and, he's trying to build his program, his culture. And he's a hard guy to keep up with. He's going at 110 miles per hour every day. Doesn't matter if it's 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. But he always pushed people to be obviously the best football player they can be, but the best man they can be, the best classmate they can be. So you could never really get comfortable. And I think that kind of stressed people out. But as you continue just to trust, his process and his coaching, his teaching. It's amazing how, it starts, your entire life starts to grow for the better. And, you start developing from this 18, 19-year-old kid to an amazing young man.
Do you feel like there was anything in college that PJ helped prepare you for that launched you into your NFL career?
Yeah. I think how he basically runs his program and practices and training, it's all organized chaos, as he calls it. And I think when you can be calm, collected, and do diligence with your work, be intentional, even though you're stressed and overwhelmed, that's what prepares you most for the NFL. Because when I got drafted, I'm excited. This is my dream. But I was not really expecting the workload that comes with being a professional athlete, being a professional football player. So to be able to handle all the stress and the chaos that comes with the job, PJ Fleck did a really good job at resembling that.
Well, and one of the programs that we have for the foundation is Be the Best You. And we talk a lot about with kids and adolescents that, being an athlete is just one piece of the pie. And at the end of the day, we want to give you skills to be the best version of yourself. And so we talk about goal setting, and we talk about self-confidence, right? And then we talk about self-regulation and just being able to take a step back in that moment, not let your feelings get the best of you. And I feel like I can already tell you're just a very calm individual, but sometimes when you're calm inside, you might not feel calm. But what are some ways that you kind of cope with stress, whether that's on the field or, even the stress of your career that you have?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd say, the stress and pressure I feel, it lasts throughout the entire season. Obviously, as an athlete, you want to hold yourself accountable and be the best player and teammate for your team. And obviously at the professional level, there's a lot of noise from the outside, whether it be fans, media, your family, friends. So you really have to find something to balance all that out and have a routine that works, with your emotions. So like, I'm somebody that like I'm thinking about the game plan, the game the entire week, but I know for me, like when I get home and I need to put in my extra film study and like I'm feeling a little bit anxious about the game just because I got a million things running through my head, like once I get done with what I'm doing, like I put my notes away, I turn my iPad off with the film, and like just watching a show like with my girlfriend or something, my dog on the couch, like just totally tuning out everything from the outside world. That includes like putting my phone down, not getting back to anyone, like just shutting my mind off and just not thinking about it is a way for me to decompress. And I tell people all the time, like, hey, once it's about 7:30 and you're trying to get a hold of me, like it's probably gonna have to wait till tomorrow. My phone will sit up there on the kitchen table. But when you want to talk about, getting ready for a game, like I'm always very excited, and with experience, I think you learn to handle things better. And I'm pretty calm on game days, but you still get those pregame jitters and get anxious. But
that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it is good. I think when that happens, it means like it's obviously really important to you, and those feelings are good, and you have to use those feelings to your advantage. And but also be able to control them. For me, like I like to read a lot of scriptures that like a mentor pastor used to send me through my college days and early career. And then we kind of talked about it when I got in the door here, is like taking deep breaths in through your nose, like 4 seconds, and then deep exhale, just to bring your heart rate down and calm you down.
Mm-hmm.
So at InSports, we're all about having fun, like providing fun experiences for kids to play sports and fall in love with sports. It's a big reason why we run this event, the Joy of the Pond, because a lot of kids don't get to just go out and do an actual pond hockey tournament. There's a lot of adult pond hockey tournaments, but not a lot of ones for kids. So it's a unique event. But for you guys, for the Vikings this season, it seemed like your defense had a lot of fun doing all the dances when you guys got interceptions or a defensive touchdown. Were you part of that, all the dances and everything? I know Metellus and Bynum were leaders in that, but
yeah, they orchestrated basically all the dances, and some guys got involved. I would try to get involved, and then they would lose me. I'd get lost very quickly just because I don't consider myself a great dancer, and I can't be embarrassing myself in front of millions of people, but definitely had fun with it. And guys would often, jump in and get involved and just, put their own rhythm and dance to the celebrations. But, that's why this season was so great and so special to us, is because the relationships were different. At the professional level, it's not the same as, college or in your youth growing up all the way through high school. It's a job, but you really felt like the brotherhood and what it means to be like a family in the locker room. And, a lot of teams talk about it and want to have that, but it's really hard to get that, and we had that. And that's why it was so much fun playing with those guys, because we all wanted to win and see each other win. And, it's something that I hope we can continue to build for years to come, because like I said, it's really hard to get that. It's different.
Yeah, like when you allude to it's different, can you pinpoint how? Like, and sometimes it's just a feeling, right? And the group just meshes together. But I feel like there has to be some intentionality about things that you're doing to stay that close and to have that culture.
Yeah, I always believe it. Great teams are led by the locker room, but it is really important to have people that really run the building, your leadership, coaches, front office owners that also care and are on board with everything that the team likes to do. And we had that this year in Minnesota. But I think it's just who each person was in that locker room. There's times where you walk into a locker room, I've been there, where I'm a new player, and there's 10 guys I've never met, don't know who they are, and not one of them's coming up to introduce themselves like, hey, I'm so-and-so, you're Blake Cashman, like, welcome to the team. Where here in Minnesota, like, you can hang out and have a conversation with anyone in the locker room. Everybody was taking the time and effort to get to know each other, build a relationship outside of football. And I think when you do that, that's where you get a special camaraderie within your team.
So would you say the Vikings experience has been different than the Jets and Houston, your time at those organizations?
I would say playing for the Minnesota Vikings and the team we had, which includes, the coaches, all the staff, the locker room, like, this was the most fun I've had in a year, most fun I've had playing football my entire life. It was crazy. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say it. Like, after the season, 2 days had gone by, and I was looking through all the pictures and videos that I had from the season, and it just, I was overwhelmed with emotion and started tearing up at my kitchen counter just thinking about the year. Like, that's never happened to me before. Like, I've usually like try to be a macho man, hold my emotions, but like, it was just different, and like, I think everybody felt that in their heart.
Hey everyone, I want to take a quick moment to tell you about the InSports Foundation. At InSports, we're all about helping kids get more involved in sports. We do this through providing free camps, scholarships, and team sponsorships, all to help reduce the cost of sports and getting more kids into the game. Through sports, kids can learn valuable life lessons, stay active, and maintain their mental well-being. To support our mission and help us get more kids into the game, visit our website at insportsfoundation.org to make a donation. Together, we can make a difference.
How was playing for KO? I mean, I've listened to him in interviews. He's such a well-spoken man, so humble, but how was it?
Coach of the year now, too.
Yeah, Coach of the year. It's amazing.
Well-deserved.
I mean, what an honor, but how was it playing for him?
I love playing for him. Obviously, Coach of the Year. He received that award for good reason. He's does a great job, I think, getting the best out of his players, getting the best out of his coaches. Great leader of men, but the great thing about KO is, like, he's not, some coaches are all talk about, like, hey, I want my leaders to come to me and voice their opinion, voice their concerns, because we're all in this together. Coaches say that, but they don't always mean it. Where they'll listen to you, but they're gonna do it their way. And with KO, like, he's very genuine and cares about each person and how they're feeling, and he knows that, if you can bring everybody along, get everybody on the same page, have everybody be confident in what our entire building is doing, you're going to have a successful football team.
And how about Flores? How is it playing for a guy like that on the defensive side?
He's the man. He always talks about, he wants a team, a defense that has high football IQ and joy. He always preaches about joy, and that's something to, no matter what level of sport you're at, like, it's really important to have that, because it's why you play the game. And there's so many things you can learn from the game, but if you're not having fun doing it, like, what are we doing? But he's a great coach, obviously a mastermind on defense. He's not afraid to take risks. But it gives a lot of guys opportunity to make plays, and you never know who's it going to be. But that's why, with his defensive scheme, it's probably the ultimate team defense that I've been a part of.
So in high school, you played offense, right? Or were you always defense?
I played both. I played more defense, but I was factored in on some packages on offense.
Okay. I'm still learning the game of football, clearly.
I used to give Mike Grant a hard time. I'd always be like, you got to put me at running back. You got to put me at receiver. Like, you got to give me the ball, man. He's like, nah. Like, just wait. Like, wait for playoffs. We have some ideas. But every week in high school, I was, in his ear, give him a hard time because I want to be out on the field as much as possible.
Absolutely. So you talked a little bit about the journey, obviously, to get to the collegiate level, right? And how hard it was. Like, what kept you going? Because, I mean, think nowadays, if things get too competitive, kids will just stop playing, right? So how did you continue to stay motivated and encouraged that you really wanted to go play collegiately?
There was moments where it took some reflection of like what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be, and athletic sports has been a big part of my life. Really has been my life, and part of it's been wrapped in my identity, if I'm being honest. But there's so much you get from sports, where you learn how to work well with a team, and within a team there's many different individuals that demand you to have maybe a unique relationship with each teammate of yours, and so you learn how to work well with others. I think it teaches you a lot about accountability, intentionalism, work ethic, purpose, all that. And when I'm sitting there reflecting on like what I want, who I wanted to be, like I felt like I was at my best. I was the best version of myself when I was out there, running between the white lines on the football field. And it was something that I couldn't find in life, where like you step out onto the football field, like no matter what's going on in your life, no matter who's there at the game, like the only thing you were focused on was being the best player, best teammate out there, and winning that football game. Like your mind just goes clear, and like that you have that joy of what sports gives you. And as I was sitting there reflecting, I'm like, I still wanted that, because I almost wasn't getting scholarship offers, wanted to walk away from it because I was so discouraged. And I'm like, that's not who I am. I love the game of football. I love what it's done for me in my life, the relationships it's given me, how it's developed me as a human being, and I need more of that. And so I'm like, all I need is opportunity. And I know through like my dedication, my work ethic, like I can't lose. And so I bet on myself, and I'm so glad I did, because that was the one lingering factor that just ran through my head while making that decision to walk on in Minnesota. Was I don't want to look back 4 or 5 years from now after I've graduated and say, what if I would have taken a chance on myself and walked on in Minnesota? I didn't want to live with that regret.
Yeah. I mean, a big reason why we started this podcast was for people to learn the life lessons that sports bring, and try to inspire parents and kids to want to get their kids into sports and learn all those lessons that you just talked about. But unfortunately, everybody's sports career at some point comes to an end, at the super competitive level. Have you thought about what you want to, like, kind of what your life looks like after your football career is over?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I feel like it's a question that professional athletes get asked all the time, and a lot of guys would say, have a plan. And I think about it often. I'm not really sure what I want to do. Part of me believes like keep the main thing, and I'm somebody that's very extreme when it comes to like my routine, where my focus goes, but because of what sports gives us, what being a part of a team gives us, and how it's molded me as a man, like I want to still be engaged around sports. So I think at some point I would get into like coaching or training. I wouldn't want, I don't think, to do it at the collegiate or professional level. Now, who knows? But I do enjoy working with like young athletes, because there's so much potential and growth there throughout their journeys. So it'd be exciting to be a part of that, and work with somebody and see them achieve what they want to achieve. I also have thought about working within like a sports agency, but on like the marketing side of the business. I went to school for business marketing.
Let's go marketing.
Yeah,
let's go.
Doing something like that, helping athletes with their off the field ventures, whether it be their side hustle businesses, their camps they put on, in the off seasons, or maybe it's their own personal brand. Who knows? But that way, you're still working with athletes and helping them. You're just helping them off the field.
Right.
So you mentioned a little bit that you're an extremist. Can you give us like an inside scoop of what your routine is pre-game?
Well, pre-game, I'll get up, get dressed. Sometimes I'll take about 15 minutes to review the game plan, and then I'll go down into the hotel ballroom or whatever and eat. And then I like to get to the stadium early. I usually get there close to 3 hours beforehand. That way I can get everything I need in for my body, just to get ready to, go to war, go to battle out there. So once I take care of the stuff I need to do in the locker room for my body, I do pre-warm-up 1, and then come back in, get dressed, and then each position goes out in waves for warm-up number 2, which is all together, and then it's game time. But throughout that, I'm listening to music. Usually,
what's your choice? What's your music choice?
So usually I honestly, leading up to the game, I'll listen maybe to some upbeat country, something that it's not really getting me going yet, but I enjoy listening to. And then as we get closer to game time, I'm listening to usually some hip hop. But it's all about controlling those emotions. You don't want to get too amped up too early, because then you just psych yourself out. So a lot of times it's about just listening to how your body's feeling as you're going through that process.
Are there any players on the team that got some weird pregame rituals that they do?
Not really. I will say the offensive line is a unique group. Offensive linemen are always the closest group on the team. They all get along so well. I really do admire those guys. They're the best. But sometimes they play card games. They call it boo. They're like, hey, let's play some boo, and they're just sitting around playing card games. And for me, where you talk about me being an extremist with my routine and just where my focus, that would give me, I think, anxiety. I'd be I'm not locked in, I'm not focused, but it works for them though. That's where everybody's routine's gonna be different.
Right.
They need to do something to distract themselves, or else maybe they psych themselves out too early.
I think you've made such a valid point about being present. I feel like you hit on that, being intentional and being present, right? Because that's the most pure you're going to be. That's the happiest you're going to be, when you're in that exact moment and being super present. And I think that probably, helps with the outside noise. That helps you stay focused and really passionate about what you're doing. So that is something that we also kind of talk about in our Be the Best You program. It's just how can you continue to stay present in the moment, to self-regulate those emotions, right? Because it's you can't control those emotions that are coming in and the feelings that you're going to feel, but you can control how you respond to them. And so we talk a lot about that, about our Be the Best You, and staying present in the moment is going to make you feel and be the most calm. So I love all those points you're making for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so much in sports that you have to, as an athlete, process so quickly. And, you could be hurting, your knee could be hurting, and, mentally you're flustered because you're not off to a great start, and the opposing team has the momentum. And it's how do you control your emotions, control how you're feeling? How quickly can you process those things and stay calm and stay focused on the objective and get back to, collectively working as a team to, maybe get out of a hole that you got yourself into early. All that stuff is.
How do you do that on the field, though? I know Adam Thielen says, flush it down the toilet. Do you have a little thing where you're just let me reset real quick?
Yeah, if we can get done, get off the field and get to the sideline, sometimes it's you just self-talk. I do a lot of that. Or do you ever see me doing something like this? After I miss a tackle or something, that just means me telling myself wipe that play, wipe it gone.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell our son Brax that.
Yeah.
Wipe it away. I like it.
Now awesome. You said you like working with kids, and did I see you have a football camp that you run? in the summertime?
So the past few years we've done a with 2 guys. One's now retired, but 2 other guys I grew up with that play in the NFL, and we would do that at Eden Prairie. This year, still working through some things because there's potential maybe change with our off-season program. But I am doing a 3 consecutive camps, one here in the cities, one in Rochester, and then I believe one up in Duluth.
Okay.
Yeah.
What age kids do you have at your camps?
I want to say it's K through 8 or 1st through 8th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and so our foundation is all about giving kids a chance, like being able to do unique experiences. So if there's anything we can do to help, whether that's give scholarships for kids to attend, or maybe even do a Be the Best You session for the kids that are there, we'd love to be involved in however we could.
Yeah, that would be great. I appreciate saying
help
that.
out. Okay, Blake, I have some rapid fire questions for you, okay?
Okay.
All right, favorite cheat meal?
Cheat meal? Probably pizza.
Pizza.
Well, what kind of pizza?
What kind?
Maybe just a good sausage pepperoni, a little hot honey on there.
Toughest player you've ever tackled?
Ooh, that's a great question. Maybe Derrick Henry, or so this one might surprise people, but Javonte Williams, who's running back in Denver, runs really low.
Oh, yeah.
Strong, good contact balance.
He was on my fantasy team.
Okay.
Did he give you some points, or did
Derrick
Blake
Henry seemed
tackle
like he'd
him?
be tough to tackle too.
Yeah, he's like the one player in my entire life where you step on the field and you look up and you're like, there's a little bit of intimidation. But the thing with Derrick, he's great back. You gotta commit to the tackle and try to get him before he gets on his 4th step.
Yeah. All right. How about best teammate to hang out with?
Ooh, a lot of them. There's a lot of great teammates. Probably say maybe Andrew Van Ginkel.
He looks like a fun guy.
Yeah. He's a fun guy, simple guy. His locker's right next to mine. Known him since coming out for the NFL Combine, and he's a Midwest kid.
Yeah. All right. Dream Super Bowl matchup.
Vikings, Bills.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Let's go. 2026.
Manifest, yeah.
All right. If you could play one game in any stadium, what would you pick?
I would. That's a great question. A football game in any stadium?
Yep. Maybe if you had a last game, like you had to play your last game in a stadium, what would you pick? Other than US Bank Stadium.
I would say like a late December game, or if it's a last game of year's January game, like in Lambeau Field.
I went to one of those games.
Oh,
It's one of those things where every year, like when you play teams with outdoor stadium, you're like, oh, I hope we don't have them in like end of December, January. But like that's just like being from Minnesota, I grew up watching those games. It's like that's like what football is. It's the gritty toughness of a cold weather football game in Lambeau, and it's just like historic to me.
I can't believe the guy, like when you're wearing short sleeves and it's that cold out. That seems nuts.
If that happens, I'll be sleeveless.
Yeah.
Blake, you should get some skates and go out on the pond today. You'd be doing great.
I don't think anybody wants to see me in skates today. It's been a while.
Well, Blake, we really appreciate your time on the podcast. We are going to open it up to some questions from some players.
Did you find something beneficial from this Athletes in Sports podcast? Please share this episode with a fellow athlete, coach, or someone who loves sports to help them reach their next level and help kids get in the game.
What are your thoughts about Justin Jefferson as a teammate?
That's a great question. Jets is an awesome teammate. I remember getting asked a similar question like this by the radio beginning of the year, and I said, he's the ultimate pro, somebody that every young player, especially a young receiver, should watch how he works, watch how he prepares, watch how he trains, because obviously he's the greatest at what he does. greatest at his position. So for anybody that's younger looking up to him, he's somebody that sets a great example.
Yeah, I also agree.
And his dancing's pretty fun.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Other questions? Raise your hand. We got a mic.
Right here.
How many touchdowns have you scored?
In my professional career, 0. I've had a couple called back, which sucks. In college, I scored 1, and then in high school, there was a lot.
How many in high school?
Probably, I played mostly defense and a little bit of offense, but there's probably around 30 touchdowns, somewhere in there.
Not bad, huh?
Not bad.
Other questions?
We got one right here.
Oh, okay.
Ask him a question.
How much people is there on the Vikings?
How many, players?
Yeah.
Close. 53. Yes, 53. And then you have about, 16 guys, 14, 16 guys on practice squad. It's a big locker room.
All right, we
Great
got
questions.
Another
Keep
one
them
right
coming.
here. Number 13.
How many football games have you won?
Oh.
We won a lot this year. Unfortunately, I think my first 4 years in the NFL, I only won a total of 15 or 16 games. Wasn't too much winning going on, but I would say the last 2 years I've won 25 games in 2 years. That's pretty good.
It's because Blake came to the good side. Other questions?
This is our son.
Why have you guys won no Super Bowls?
That is a great question. I know many Vikings fans wonder why. There's a lot that goes into winning a Super Bowl. It's very hard. We're not the only team that hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, but I would say we're trending in the right direction to get one. But the difference is it doesn't matter how great of a regular season you have. Once you get to the playoffs, everybody's there for a reason, and it's almost like the season resets and it's a new season.
Hey, hopefully in your lifetime, Brax, there'll be a Viking Super Bowl win. Maybe a couple.
It's my dad's dying wish.
Got any other questions out there?
Come on up.
Who do you think's gonna win the Super Bowl this year?
At this point, I feel like you can't go against the Chiefs. They've been winning all year. So honestly, I hate to say it, I'm cheering for Kansas City. I want to see history because it'd be the first three-peat in NFL history for a Super Bowl era.
Any other questions? Oh, all right.
Who's your favorite teammate?
Who's my favorite teammate? Oh, I have so many great teammates. Well, I mentioned Andrew Van Ginkel, been close to him for a long time. I also would say fellow linebacker, his name's Kamu Kruger-Hill. I've met him 4 years ago, and we were actually teammates in Houston at one point. But he's just a guy that's played football 9 years, knows the game really well, and just does a very good job at including all his teammates and creating a fun environment.
All right, probably got time for two more questions.
What's your favorite, Sally?
My favorite what?
Sally.
Selly. Are you going to show us right now?
No. Like I said, nobody wants to see me dance. I would say my favorite celebration was when Josh Metellus and Cam Bynum did the dance from the movie White Girls. That was
good.
funny.
That was good.
That was pretty epic.
One more. I don't know if I'm mic'd up.
All right. I have two to kind of close us out. Like, so we have kids in the room who are playing hockey today. We have parents listening. What advice would you give young athletes right now? And my next question is, what advice would you give to parents listening today?
For the kids, I would definitely say, enjoy the ride of playing youth sports. I think youth sports all the way up until high school is one of the best things you can be a part of. It's very special because, you all grow up together. You all know so much about each other and each other's families, and you have such strong relationships, such strong friendships. It's truly unique in its own way, and it's something you'll never get at the next level if you are fortunate enough to play in college. So have fun and enjoy the time with your team and teammates. And then the other thing I would say to all the young athletes is whether it be in your sport or in the classroom, always show up with a purpose. I think when people don't come with a purpose or not intentional about what they're doing, I think you're just wasting your time and everyone else's time around you. So show up with always a plan to get better. I learned something in high school, and it was preached to me again in college, was like, you should always look to get 1% better every day. It doesn't always have to be in sport. It doesn't always have to be in hockey. It can be, in your personal life. It can be, I'm going to be a better brother or sister. I'm going to be a better classmate today. Whatever it is, always look to, find a better version of yourself. And then for, all the parents, I think, I'm not a parent, so I can't really give parenting advice, but it's, I guess I can say from my experience with my relationship with my dad, like, as my siblings have gotten older and, a lot of them aren't playing sports anymore, like, that was one of the hardest things, I think, for his life to have to adjust, was not being able to watch his sons and his daughters compete in whatever sport or activity they were doing. So cherish the moments you have with them, because I know everybody says it goes by really quick.
Okay, I have a 7-year-old. I'm already sad about that. Well, thank you so much, Blake. We really appreciate your time today, and thanks for all the questions. They were great.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll have a couple more minutes for Blake to sign autographs and take some pictures. And line up behind Maddie over here. But thank you guys for being here. Blake, thank you.
Appreciate it. Had a lot of fun.
It's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Athletes in Sports podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more from inspiring athletes, we encourage you to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on all of our social media channels.